Des from Aro-Tarot here, and I don't know, just some stuff that I've recently seen. I just kind of decided I'm already good, because at this moment, I still have to edit, those other 3 videos. I was like, might as well just add to the pile, since I was going to do that while, letting it run, you know, because it's got to encode the videos, and then after that, I have to upload them, like, one by one. So I figured while I was doing those bits, I could, do my schoolwork, so, you know, might as well. Man, I really don't want to do my schoolwork today. The one is, like, so confusing, because it's, like, use the model from, module 2 in order to do the thing, and I'm thinking, what model? Our practice model from 2? Because we didn't make that in 2. We made it in 1, and we were supposed to fix it in 2, which I didn't because I had an anxiety attack. But yeah, I guess that's it. If anything, that means that I have to basically make 2 models today. 3D modeling. But then the other class at least is going to be easy. And it's a topic that's, you know, interesting and relates to me, which kind of actually relates to this video in a way too, because I'm going to be writing my it's sociology of gender. So it's like gender expression, and sexuality. And I'm going to be writing about heteronormity, and then I'm always like not sure how to say the word anamatonormity. Anamatonormity. I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. Obviously the normity part's right, but it's like A-N-A-M-T-O. So anamatonormity. Oh no, it's A-M-A-T-O. Amatonormity. Amatonormity. I don't know. I'm very bad at pronouncing things. But that little fucker right there can go die. But yeah, I thought that I could just do like some little videos. I don't know if I'll separate them. It's going to depend on how long they are. So if they're at least like over 5 minutes long, then I will just go ahead and make them separate. And I'll put them together, but we'll see. So, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about just what my orientations mean for me, you know, my romantic, sexual, and gender orientations. Like, what it's like for me, because I know there are so many different ways people experience different things, especially being like aromantic. I know a lot of people, like, it's a little bit different for all of them. Like, you'll never really see like one person saying exactly the same as the other person, especially since of just how like culture views romance and stuff. It makes it a bit harder, and then like romantic things can be different amongst different cultures, so things could be a little bit different. Yeah, I thought that would just be a neat little thing to do. I mean, literally, Aro is half of my channel name and my Tumblr name, and that is something that I very much like, reblogging on my Tumblr. Just get that nice positivity stuff out there, you know, make people feel better. I know I definitely could have used it. And then also, like, that's a big goal when it comes to, like, future job stuff as well. And I know that is something that, like, I had a video back when I first started the channel where I was talking about how I feel like being Airways kind of influenced the way that I read tarot, because I cannot see the lovers as being anything romantic. That's literally just fucking stupid, in my opinion. Like, literally, like, what would happen? Like, that card has actually come up for me before, and it didn't mean romance, and that kind of, like, sparked the, I guess it doesn't have to mean romance. And then, like, I was learning about it, and I was like, I guess I kind of really resonate with the more Marseille meaning with, like, choices and stuff, because obviously, like, even the Two of Cups, if anything's going to be romantic, it's going to be the Two of Cups for me. And even then, I don't see it like that. I see an emotional closeness, which doesn't necessarily have to be romance, because you could love someone just as much as someone you're romantically, like, involved with. I could love someone, or even multiple people, because fuck that, amatonormity. Amatonormity bullshit. That's the mindset that you have to be with, like, one person, like, this person's my soulmate, like, fuck that stuff, like, making, like, polyamorous relationships look bad. But yeah, you could love, I could love someone or multiple people just as much as someone that's in a romantic relationship, like, even fucking married, as with like their romantic partner. Like, I could love someone just as much as that, like, the whole thing, like, with the LGBT plus, like, love is love, like, yeah, it's love is love, and it's all kinds of love, like, just, it's a powerful emotion, it's a feeling, and I could have it just with someone, like, platonically just as much, but I guess that's a little bit more on that. I was gonna do an ace video first, because that's where it started, but I'm already talking about Aro stuff, so I guess I should just make this first one being about Aro. So I figured I kind of just maybe even do it, like, just kind of talking about my experience over the years, and maybe even realizing that I'm Aro. Kind of get the big old broad spectrum. Spectrum. I wanted, like, the big old picture that I said spectrum, and it's like the ace and Aro spectrums. Like, how did you realize you were on the Aro spectrum? Specifically Aro. I know when I was younger, and I feel like someone that knew me as a kid would probably find me being Aro to be very surprising. Even probably the people that I knew back when I was on campus would probably find it to be surprising, because of just how I've always viewed things. Like literally, like, one of the things that I have heard is associated with Libras is being a hopeless romantic, and that has pretty much been true for me, like, all my life. And when I was younger, my hair doesn't want to do anything, because I woke up like a bit ago, and I've just been laying down going, I don't want to do anything today, but I have to. Let me just watch a live video. That'll get me to get up. But yeah, when I was younger, people would probably call it a crush. I would probably call it more of a squish, because I don't crush on people, I get squishes, which I guess I can get into that later, or even, like, an obsession, with, Dick Grayson, which, like, DC, I'm just saying, like, you may have him go by Richard or something in the newer comics with all that you're putting him through, which, why do you have to put him through such things? Like, he is a favorite, like, he is pure love and joy, like, fuck off, DC, and he's still always gonna be fucking Dick Grayson. Like, you can't do anything, you can't take all those years away. Anyway, sorry. But I watched Batman the Animated Series reruns, like, I wasn't, like, born yet when the show first came out, but I watched the reruns all the time on TV, like, it's my favorite TV show ever. And Robin was always my favorite. Like, he is so freaking cute. But then I just love his personality too. Like, literally, like, I always think of that quote from the episode Night of the Ninja, where Robin, like, yet again saves Batman, and Batman's just, like, so, like, really caught up in just, I have to catch this ninja, my arch nemesis from back when I was learning martial arts in Japan. And then Robin, he saves him, and, like, Batman just walks away, and Robin just goes, thanks for saving my bacon, Robin. Oh, no problemo, Batman. And then, he just leaves. And it's like, I just loved his personality so much. Like, he gave just such a nice like life and like spark to the show, and that is what Dick Grayson has always been. Obviously that's changing right now in the comics because he was just shot in the head. Spoilers. And so he's gonna have to deal with some memory stuff. We'll see how it is during the next issue of Nightwing. Ugh, they better not ruin his character. I'm gonna be mad. But I've always loved Nightwing, and the kids at school, they used to tease me about it. I always thought that I was being like a class clown. I was trying to get people to laugh and to like me, but I didn't realize that they were laughing at me and not with me. So they would make fun of my really love of Nightwing and writing stories about like ninja superheroes and just stuff like that. Like, I wasn't exactly the most popular kid in school, like, for any of the years. And yeah, it all kind of stems from that and me just really liking ninjas because that was just something that like me and my dad did. But anyway, off topic. Yeah, anyone that probably would think of that, would probably not, like, be like, wait, you're not attracted to anyone, but, like, what about Robin? Well, Robin's actually a cartoon character, and I think the most romantic thing I've really thought of him with would be when I was younger, I used to think of the episode Bane, and he gets kidnapped by Bane. And they've got him, like, they take off his shirt, and he's, like, hung by, like, chains, and then water's, like, slowly filling, and then Batman's gotta fight Bane, you know, and then, like, save Robin and stuff. And I, like, even now, like, when I think about that episode, like, I'll just daydream about, like, what if I saved Robin? And it's not really in a romantic damsel in distress kind of way. I mean, it kind of is, but I'm not really seeing it as romantic. And also, the character that's basically me isn't really me either. And obviously it wasn't the whole, like, shirtless thing either. It was just, him being shirtless means he's vulnerable to me. It's like, oh my god, like, he's vulnerable, like, he needs help. What if I'm the one that saves him? Because, like, I don't know, like, that's, I don't know, like, it's not, like, really, like, romantic in the sense of romance. It was just kind of, like, I always saw it as, that would be the scene where it's, like, someone from my past has come back and saved me, and then it'd be, like, the start of, like, the adventure, like, of, like, us being in some kind of, like, I can't think of anything right now, of, exclusive, that's the word I was looking for, of, like, an exclusive relationship. I mean, literally, like, I was thinking these things back in, like, 2nd grade. How old are you in 2nd grade? It was, like, 8, I guess. So, like, obviously, it's not gonna be, like, too bad, like, but yeah, like, Robin was very much, like, a big old thing with me, and I still fucking love Robin. I call him my husband, well, Dick Grayson. I call him my husband, like, I fucking love him, you know, he's my favorite hero, man. And, like, him being, like, I don't think he's good looking in all the comics, like, all the artist adaptations of him, but I just really fucking love his personality, and he has had such an influence on me growing up, so, yeah, I'm always gonna love him. And I'll be pissed off if they fuck up his character, just saying. But yeah, then, getting older, I know, starting in 2nd grade, I had, like, a crush on this one boy, who ended up becoming my arch nemesis. He never knew he was my arch nemesis, but I would not allow his name to be spoken in this household, and I still don't allow it because I fucking hate him. He's a stupid dumbass, that everyone praised, even though he's a fucking dumbass. But I, like, again, I thought that being kind of, like, obsessive, like, because people were laughing, so I thought, oh, well, if I just keep acting like this, like, being like, oh, like, look, you know, like, it's kind of like the teasing thing where it's like, oh, look, like, what if, like, these two figures were us instead, you know? Like, for me, it was more so of, like, teasing in a way, that I liked him, and the other kids thought it was funny. So, you know, of course I'm just gonna keep going on with it. Like, I didn't see it as, like, harmful or anything. Like, at that point, where I was mostly doing that was, like, 3rd and 4th grade. But, like, the kids weren't laughing with me. They were laughing at me, and I just didn't know it, you know? And so, yeah, so elementary, like, was very much just making fun of me. Because, like, I had these crushes, you know? But I didn't. Like, I thought he was cute. And I just really just wanted to at least be in, like, a close relationship with him. Like, we weren't even friends. I would have loved to, like, be, like, friends at least, you know? But also, like, when I get aesthetic attraction, like, I get fucking aesthetic attraction. Like, if I see someone that's cute, like, oh my god, they're fucking cute, you know? Like, let me look at that cute face. Because aesthetic attraction is separate. Like, it goes along with, like, romance and, like, sexual attraction, but, like, not necessarily. Like, a gay guy could, like, understand and appreciate that this woman's good looking, you know, like, it's aesthetic, you know, they'd be like, wow, this is a good looking woman, you know, like, she's pretty, like, I like looking at her, she's pretty, but, like, you're not sexually or romantic attracted to them, like, that's a thing, you know, so, yeah, just, and then, you know, it kind of continued. I'd be, like, really aesthetically attracted to, like, some, like, younger, cute celebrities, usually the ones that people weren't, because, like, I remember when there were people that were really into Justin Bieber, and I was like, why? Why? I don't understand. But yeah, just, my aesthetic attraction has always been, like, really hard, and I would just kind of, like, express it, you know, and just kind of, like, even if it was just for me, you know, because it's not like I had, like, many friends, so, you know, it just kind of, like, stayed with that. And then I also loved, like, reading, like, things that were romantic. Like, I very much had a fanfiction phase. I still sometimes read fanfiction because some of them are so fucking good. Like, why is this not a novel? You know, like, it's really good. And so I'll still read the good ones. And not the ones that people probably think of when they think of fanfiction. I'm thinking about, like, the ones that are, like, the writing is, like, novel-worthy. Like, the story is, like, really good and interesting. Or maybe it's just because, like, I've been watching a show, so I just want to read, like, something related to the show or video game or something. I know, I still want to write some. But I just... Eternal writer's block. Also, I need to work on my book. But yeah, I just kind of always been like that. And then just growing up too, like, I was not, like, really happy. And I know I was depressed while I was on campus, but, like, honestly, I was depressed, like, probably my 2 last years of, well, no, that would have been sophomore and junior year. I was pretty much fine senior year. Senior year was fine. But sophomore and junior year, I was depressed, too. I can't remember where I was going with that. Oh, and whenever I felt, like, depressed or something, like, I felt like I could never accomplish any goals, I would always kind of tell myself, well, at least if you find love, you'll be happy. If you end up getting married, not having kids, I never really wanted kids, I don't like kids. If you end up getting married and being in this, like, cute romantic relationship where, like, they love you and stuff, then you'll be happy. I mean, that's how it is in all the shows, you know, like, the guy and the girl, they end up together in the end. It's just, that's how it's always been, like, and honestly, I am so happy and so lucky that my favorite movie growing up, well, my other favorite movie growing up, that one's a romance, but, like, the character that I was, like, obviously doesn't end up with a girl. Same with, like, my favorite movie ever, which is The Hunchback of Notre Dame, 1996, like, Quasi does not end up with Esmeralda. Instead, he gets the love of the city, and that really helped me later, I feel like, with being Aro, because I've got my favorite character, you know, has my back. And, of course, I'm not thinking about the sequel, because the sequel, like, do most people even know that movie even has a sequel? Like, I do. I had it because it was Hunchback of Notre Dame, but, like, it's not the best movie. And, like, literally they made it just because they felt bad for Quasi. Like, the creators, they're like, oh my god, he didn't get anyone. And it's like, nah, like, shut up, Quasi did. He got the whole city loving him, so. Just a different form of love. Just a different love that is still just as important. And yeah, that's just something that I would always tell myself. And obviously that's why when I realized I was Aro, like, it hit me, like, really hard. And I know while I was on campus, I know actually my sophomore year, I liked my friend. And then I ended up learning later that he liked me too, like, after the fact, like, after we'd already graduated. Well, like, he was 2 years older than me, like, after I graduated. And it was like, what? And, like, I'm so happy that, like, that rumor that my friend was spreading about me liking him, like, fuck you, Michaela, did not actually get to him, because something probably might have come of it. And then I feel like it's just, it's kind of also like when I was ace, which I would explain in the ace story. It just, wow, this video is getting kind of long, isn't it? I have scissors in the way, so I can't really see how long. Yeah, I've been talking for a bit. But yeah, luckily nothing came of it, because I feel like it just would have kind of ruined everything. To realize that it's not my thing. Then, you know, I'm trying to, like, go through this quickly. Then, when I was on campus, you know, new freshman in college, I really liked my one friend. He, like, was so fucking cute. Like, cute as in, like, the type of cute that I like. You know, like, tall, lanky, nerdy. Like, literally, like, that's the cute type for me. Well, at least as long as they're taller than me and, like, really skinny. Like, that's the type that I think's really cute. And yeah, like, I thought he was so fucking cute, but obviously nothing came out of it. Like, I was denied. But we still stayed friends. I mean, like, I was, like, heartbroken over that, because the one thing I did was I would also obsess, because it wasn't often that I even thought someone was cute. Like, where I went to school, like, no one actually even fit that type except for literally my friend. And he wasn't the nerdy type, he was just tall and lanky, you know? And then just obviously, like, really fucking nice and cool. I mean, like, we were friends, so obviously. But yeah, like, if I felt something, I would really try hard to just hold on to it, and it would become kind of, like, obsessive, at least in my mind, you know? Like, I'm not, like, openly being like, oh my god, you know? Like, no, it's, like, in my mind, you know, it's like, I like them, I like them, I like them, I like them, that kind of obsessive. Which is very not healthy. And then later, I liked, my other friend, they were also, like, really cute. And, like, I thought they were cute when I first met them, too, but they were in a relationship. And then, like, they ended up getting out. And, like, at one point, I thought that they liked me back. And I was like, no, they can't like me back. And then I found out, like, later that year, they fucking actually did like me back. And I'm like, what? But they were going through stuff, so nothing came of it. Kind of happy that nothing came of it. Also kind of sad, because I would have at least liked to figure out that I was Aro, maybe at least during that relationship. Because if there was a relationship there, then at least maybe I would have stayed in contact with them and my old friends. Because I've never had so much fun hanging out with people, like, in my life. And I really miss that. But yeah. Getting sad a bit. But yeah, I thought that I liked them. Like, romantically. At that point, I already knew that I was ace. And so, it was actually after that I started to realize that I was Aro. Basically, I used to actually have these rules, and I had lost them at one point, so I was in the middle of rewriting them, of, like, the rules of being in a relationship with Des. Because there's certain things that I just don't like. Like, I don't care for kissing, it's just lips touching, I don't see it. Literally, it does nothing for me. So, no kissing. I could see maybe on the head or something, because I'm only 5'1", so pretty much almost everyone's going to be taller than me. Like, I think that's okay, although I would probably want to be the one that initiates anything, like kissing on the cheeks or something. But again, I didn't really see myself doing it, so it was kind of like no kissing. The hand-holding rule was, which for me, I don't really care for holding hands. I know a big thing about that, though, is just because my hands get sweaty. So it's like, it would not be something fun for you, be not something fun for me. It would just be uncomfortable. Instead, let's link arms or something. And then there was just things like, don't buy me things, don't do anything. Basically, don't do anything romantic. And literally, I was just kind of reading it off to my brother, and my brother's like, literally, basically, you don't want a romantic relationship. And I'm like, huh. Yeah, I guess that actually is what my 10 rules are saying. So, what I did was I kind of was like looking up like stuff like that, because it's like I already knew about the Aro community, and I very much was thinking, no, I'm not Aro. I'm not on the Aro spectrum. Like, I'm just not. Like, at that point I was thinking maybe I was gray if I didn't really want a romantic relationship. I was hoping maybe somehow I was like Demi or something. Like, maybe there could be that sliver of hope that I could be in a relationship that's romantic. It's going to be hard enough to find one that's queer platonic anyway. You know, and just being in a it's hard enough finding a relationship where you're ace and the person's not a fucking asshole. You know? But yeah, I just was trying to hold on to some hope, and I was looking it up just on the stuff, and I realized that literally what I wanted was a queer platonic relationship. And a queer platonic relationship, for anyone that doesn't know what that is, some people call it quasi-platonic. Usually I hear it called as queer platonic. Usually people will say quasi-platonic if they don't like the idea of using the word queer. I know there's been this whole like thing on Tumblr where it's like, queer is a slur, you can't use that for anything. Like, you can't identify it as it or anything, and like literally the people that use it, like, it's not like calling anyone queer, it's like you're calling yourself queer. And when you say queer community, you're talking about the people that identify as queer, like, duh. But queer obviously also makes the most sense with how the word's used. And a queer platonic relationship is, it would kind of be like, I was trying to think of that word that I always forget. Like, it's like, generally it would be like an, exclusive relationship. And then obviously, just like with any kind of relationship, you can have more than one person, like, literally no shame there. But it is a relationship that is more than friendship, but not quite romantic. You know, it's not a romantic relationship, and it's more than friendship, you know. And I'm putting it in quotes just because it's, like, not trying to downplay friendship. Like, that's not the thing, you know. And the whole way of people act in it is literally up to the people that's in it. Like, you could do whatever you want, as long as, obviously, everyone's comfortable with it. Like, that's the kind of relationship that it is. Like, there are no, like rules set on this is the kind of relationship it is. Going in, you know, like, that you make your own rules. And a lot of times what I want is basically literally how fucking people have queer platonic relationships. So that is, I just realized I took my glasses case down here, and I always keep them in my bed to keep my glasses safe for when I'm sleeping, so I just threw that up. Like, off topic, but if you saw me tossing something and heard something, that's what that was. Otherwise, I would have forgotten. But yeah, I realized that was what I wanted. And then, like, there was this whole, like, struggle, and then I was depressed just because I learned that, like, would I never find happiness then? You know? It stopped. Anyway, now I am very much on the, like, the stance, like, idea that, like, fuck all that shit. You don't even need platonic love really to be happy. Like, you can be happy, like, with whatever. Like, you literally, you could just be your own person. Just be whatever makes you happy. Like, things that people say will make you happy doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna make you happy, you know? Just do what makes you happy. So, fuck your whole fucking mindset, like that. Fuck, like, amatonormity and heteronormity. Like, fuck that bullshit. Like, just fucking brainwashes people. Like, literally, I very much believe that I was brainwashed by society, like, with that stuff. Because literally, I thought, and whenever I was depressed, that's literally the one thing that would pick me up. Like, well, obviously I'm gonna find someone romantic, like, in a romantic relationship, and we can get married, and we'll be happy. Like, that's how everyone's always is, you know? Like, that's the happy ending. And you would think that that wouldn't have affected me, considering my parents are divorced. But, like, no, like, literally, I just always saw it, because obviously they were not right for each other. So it's just like, well, they weren't right for each other. But, like, I could find someone that's right for me, and then I'll be happy. And, like, no, like, literally, like, it doesn't have to be romantic. And, yeah, that's kind of, like, like, how I came to realize it. And I guess at this point, I could just talk about, like, what does Aro mean for me? And how I had talked about before with the rules, I don't have them anymore. But, yeah, basically anything that is generally considered romantic, like dates, just kissing, giving each other, like, flowers and chocolates, Valentine's Day, I don't know, just, like, the things in society that are considered romantic, like, I don't think about those when I see someone that I have a squish on. And I guess at this point I can say what a squish is. A squish is... a squish is too platonic as a crush is too romantic, is the best way to describe it. You know, like, people call it a platonic crush. I think the best way to say that, though, is probably more so, like, squish is too platonic as crush is too romantic. That's what it is. And then, of course, there's, like, another type of attraction that, obviously, I think more applies to me, but it's not, like, a big old thing that people talk about, so, like, oh, I can't remember the name of it. It is where the relationship, the attraction is basically kind of like, it's like queer platonic attraction. Like, that obviously, like, applies to me. Most people just kind of say platonic, though. So I just kind of do the same. So yeah, just everything I don't think about that when I think someone's, like, really cute and I get feelings for them. Instead, I think about hanging out with them, being, like, exclusive because I'm a jealous kind of person. Just an exclusive relationship where we hang out, play video games, just have fun, you know? Like, not really, like, kissing and hand-holding, and just stuff like that. Like, it's just having fun. Basically, like, what someone in a friendship would do, but it's exclusive. That's very much how I see and the things that I think about when it comes to that kind of thing. And I've only been on, like, one date ever. And I actually planned the whole thing. And honestly, like, the date that I went on wasn't bad just because I planned the whole thing, which was play games at the small arcade in the mall, and then just kind of walk around the mall, and then just kind of get something to eat when we got hungry, you know? Like, literally, that's something that friends could do. Like, literally, like, oh, let's just go fucking play at the arcade. Let's go and, walk around the mall. Like, it doesn't have, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's, you know, that doesn't have to be romantic or anything. That's just kind of, like, how I planned it. And, like, honestly, I'd be up for doing something like that. I probably wouldn't call it a date. But that's just, you know, that's just how it is. But yeah, just, because I know some people, for some, they don't want to be, like, in, a queer platonic relationship. I know some people, it's just kind of viewed a bit differently. For me, it's just, I've never thought about those things, and I wouldn't want a relationship like that anyway. Like, it just, no. Also, it's kind of uncomfortable, too. Like, so, you know, that's how it is for me being Aro. And then, obviously, it kind of influences the way that I think now, especially since, really, like, I've calmed down now, like, with the whole fuck society kind of thing, but I was so fucking angry. I now will never write a romantic story. Like, I'd probably be okay maybe if it was, like, gay or bi or trans or something, because at least then the people that need representation gets representation. But I just don't want to write romance anymore. Instead, I like to write love stories that aren't romantic. So basically, one of the characters, or both of them, is aromantic or on the aromantic spectrum. Like how I mentioned, like, I want to write that book. I've planned the whole thing out before. I have now completely reimagined it, so I have to start from scratch again, kind of. Still the same plot, still the same characters. A few things are different now, so I have to start again. At least this time I'm going to be happy with it. In that one, it actually originally started off as a romantic story. Back when I started coming up with and writing it my sophomore year. Which, I'm so bad at trying to think about how long ago years were. That would have been like 6 years ago? Yeah, that would have been like 6 years ago, I think. Yeah. So, I realize I don't really get in shot when I'm leaning back. Because I have the camera higher. Yeah, so it started as a romance story, and then it ended up actually being, like, kind of ace, and then it was ace, and now it's, Aro-Ace. So the one character is Aro-Ace. The other character, he's bi, although he doesn't really want to be in a romantic relationship anyway. Just because of the trauma of previous relationships. Like, both of them have had trauma from a previous relationship. And he doesn't really want it anyway. But yeah, so, like, it ends in a queer platonic relationship. Like, so it's a love story, but it's not romantic. And then I also don't, like, just make it so it's like, oh, like, they're working, like, they complete each other kind of thing. Like, in my mind, they're, like, fucking soulmates. But on page and just also in my mind, they don't fix each other either. Because the idea that, like, being in a relationship with someone will just, like, fix your depression is, like, that's not how it works. So, like, obviously, like, she has an addiction, he has an addiction. You know, like, they're just fucking depressed. And being together, it helps. And being with their friends help. But the story does not end with them just completely getting over their depression. Like, that's not how it works. I think even in the original version, they were happy. But I didn't really talk about if they got over it or not. But in my mind, like, obviously, like, no, that's not how it works. But yeah, just, now, I just don't want to write, romance anymore. I mean, the world has so much romantic stories anyway. Like, literally most songs are romantic, and it becomes, like, so hard to, like, that's why, like, I love music, but the one thing that's very annoying is that most songs are about romance or sex, and I can't relate to either. So most songs I really like them because I love the singing and I love the music. Like, I love the song Your Bed by All Time Low. Like, that's definitely, I would consider, a top 10 favorite. But could I ever relate to that story? Oh, hell no, I could never relate to that song at all, but I still really like the song. I just can't relate to it like some other people could. But yeah, I think I've kind of talked about everything. Obviously, like, if you couldn't tell what aromantic means just from me talking about I don't experience romantic attraction, then, you know, being aromantic means you don't experience romantic attraction to any gender. Which, I know it can be so hard to explain things when you have, like, nothing there. Because I've had to try explain it before, and the best way I could, like, I had to explain it, because, when I kind of first met David, Chris was like, oh, Des is in the LGBT plus community, too. She's asexual, you know, and stuff. I was Aro then, I think that he forgot about it, maybe. But then, like, David's like, cool, I don't know what that means, but cool. And so then when I said, I'm not attracted to people of any gender, he still didn't understand it. And then he kind of got it when I said, okay, well, you're gay. So, how you're not attracted to women is how I am for everyone. And he's like, okay, I get it. Like, that's the best way to describe it, I feel like, is... So, like, to, a straight girl or something, well, you know how you're not attracted to girls, like, romantically, you know? Imagine that with, like, the guys and everyone. You know, that's just it. You know, like, that's just it. And, yeah, like, I know this video's gotten kind of long. I guess I will have them in separate videos, But yeah, that's kind of just me through the years. I kind of dragged on at certain points. Also just how it is just for me. And like, I guess now at this point, maybe I could just mention the future. Like, Des, well, you're Aromantic, so, what do you see for yourself in the future? And then it's just... I would love to be in a queer platonic relationship. And sometimes I get sad that I'm not in one. Obviously, I'm still getting influenced by the stuff that I grew up hearing. But if I was in one now, I feel like in a way it would make me a better person, as in I would have a reason to want to learn how to drive and want to have a job. And, because I just do schooling, full-time. But, like, I would probably want to add, like, extra things to my plate. And I would, like, because, like, now, like, I don't really hang with people either. I play Pathfinder with my brother's girlfriend and, like, her two cousins. And that's about the closest I have to actually hanging out with someone. I hang out with our friend Nick when they come over. And Justin's cool, too, if he comes over, too. But I don't actually, like, message them or anything. So, I think in a way, like, part of it's just wanting friends. But also small friend group. I prefer small friend groups anyway. But yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool to have one now. But at the same time, like, I want to learn so much and do stuff. I think if anything, that would probably just make my sleeping and just schedule, like, what day of the week is it? You know, like, it would probably be a bit easier. And it would probably make me feel more grounded, like the world's actually, like, revolving and things are happening. But at the same time, like, I guess it's fine right now. Like I said, I think it's just me still being influenced by fucking society. Yeah, then in the future, definitely, especially after probably I have a career in video games, I would love to be in a queer platonic relationship with one or more people. I've had squishes on two people at the same time. As long as, like, literally, like, everyone's cool, which that's literally how it's supposed to be, then I'd probably be fine with it. No, I'd be fine with it. So, like, yeah, just one or more people in a queer platonic relationship, and we do what we want to do. And we just kind of, like, love each other, man. Like, that would be really nice. And the only reason I would ever get married would probably be for financial, like, reasons, I guess. Kind of like, oh no, one of us is in the hospital, you know? Like, oh, well, we're married, so it's fine. Like, I'm like the other spouse, so I can go in, you know, and just stuff like that would be the only reason to, like, be legally seen, I guess, in a relationship. But besides that, like, what's the fucking point? I've always seen marriage as being, well, actually, I've always seen marriage as being a fucking waste of money. Like, when it comes to the big old weddings, like, do you know how much you could buy with all that? And so just getting just a dress, like, you know, that's just my always view on it. So marriage has never really been something I've really thought of. And if anything, I wouldn't have wanted, like, a white dress anyway. I would have wanted something like green or something, like, just pretty and not just something boring and white. Yeah, anyway, I think that's enough of me just talking about being Aro, and just how it's been for me over the years. If anyone watches this all the way through and they have any questions, like, feel free to ask. As long as you're not being an asshole, I don't fucking care. You know? Like, as long as you're not like that person that's like, you just need a boyfriend, and then it's like, bitch, I don't like boys. Like, I think they're cute, and I want to be, like, really close friends with them, but, like, what are you talking about? Like, what's a date? I don't know. What's a flirt? What is a flirt? I don't know. You know, but just, yeah, so, that's pretty much it. Still don't want to do my work, so I guess I'll go ahead and film, the asexual one. If I do want to be agender, ooh, that's definitely going to be harder, because I find lack of a gender more hard to explain than lack of, like, attraction. Because at least that way you could be like, oh, well, you know how you're not attracted to girls? Well, imagine that with guys too, and just everyone, you know, like, it's like that. Where with when you're, like, agender, it's, like, even harder, like, just non-binary identities. I don't know ID is non-binary, but some people that are agender do. Just with, like, any of the NB genders, like, it kind of gets harder to describe, I guess, and explain the experience. I think especially so when they're, like, isn't a gender, but I could try. I'd probably film it and just see how long it is and how well I do it. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of this one. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and film the next one, I guess, after I get more sips of tea, because talking is making me very thirsty, because I just got up. Yeah, so anyway, got hair in my mouth. It's like, is this a cat hair or fuzz? I think it's just fuzz. That's what happens when you live in a house of cats and a dog. But anyway, like I was saying, I am Des from Aro-Tarot, and I'm logging off, so bye.